it was just a pleasure to meet you the other night. And I have looked into your show. I've done a little research, and I just think that what you're doing is amazing. And, I will become a subscriber as well. And I'll be looking in on what you're doing and how you're doing it. It's fantastic. And you're one hell of a singer, too. I just have to say that.
It's time for episode 1 of Meet the CEO, live today from the New York Stock Exchange. I said to you that I'm planning a series of interviews, and I hope to have Sir Richard Branson, even Elon Musk on the show, and CEOs from around the world. I do this by going to parties at the weekends and singing a few songs. I was voted by Elton John as the world piano man and a former Phantom. And I get to meet people, and they follow me on Instagram and X. We build friendships, and then I like to learn about their companies and then bring them onto the show. Well, today, the very first one, and we're very excited about this one, is live from the New York Stock Exchange itself. We're actually there right now. Let me share you our location. This is where we are. And our guest today is Jeffrey Boots. He's a CEO of a company soon to go public, and he's there today to start the process. And we're very, very excited to bring him on to our show. We're talking about DMG, Diverse Mineral Group. And of course, today we need minerals more than any other time for all kinds of different things. And of course, we'll be talking to Jeffrey about his very unique technology. And we're talking to him about the business. And of course, people always ask, but lots of questions here today, talking about the environmental impact and how does that affect his business and how does he deal with that. This is the Frisco Gold Project. This is the Van Diemen Mine, and we'll talk all about this on our show. So it gives me great pleasure to welcome for the very first time, episode 1 of Meet the CEO. So without further ado, let's go over live to the stock exchange itself. And here he is, the CEO himself. And this is Jeffrey Boots. Sir, welcome to our show today. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you so much. What an honor to be your first one.
The honor.
Yeah, I'm sitting here. I'm up on the 6th floor right now of the New York Stock Exchange.
Very exciting. We can see the buildings out through the window. It's my honor, really, because let's be honest, 2.5 years ago, I finished my world tour as a musician, a world piano man, and I decided to build a TV studio and do all of this. And 2.5 years later, here we are with a channel which is growing, doubling every month on subscribers. And I'm talking to you live from the New York Stock Exchange. Just shows you, Jeff, everything in life is possible. Nothing in life is impossible. If you dream it and believe in it, anything is possible. We are witness to that. So thank you for being my first guest. I apologize for being my first guest. Might be a bit rusty, but anyway, thank you.
My pleasure and an honor.
It must be a very exciting time for you because obviously you've built a business here in Texas. We're going to talk about that now. And now you wish to take the company private. Before we talk about the business, tell me a little bit about you, because I've got some of your friends here in the chat who want to wish you well, and I've got some questions from them in a few moments. But Jeffrey, if you would, before we talk about the business, how did you get into business and how did we get here?
Oh my gosh, you're talking about a 33-year journey. We were publicly traded back in the mid-90s with JAB International. We were a full NASDAQ company. And, mining gold and diamonds and both went south, to lack of a better word. And over the course from 2002 to about 5 years ago, we were strictly going to stay as a private company. But with the prices of gold going up and all of the things that were happening in the world, we decided that the case was right for us to go public again. So we started on the journey, and then of course COVID came along, and that ended everything for everybody. I mean, so everything stopped. And about a year and a half ago, we decided that the time was right. We put a team together, and for the last 6 months, we've been going through the audit process and the registration process, and all the things you have to do to get ready for filing with the SEC. So that's what we've been doing, and we're right on the cusp of filing.
Right. So your approach to this, you've already been through the process. So that makes this a little bit easier, right? For you this
It's
second
never
time around.
easy. This is not for
No,
the faint of heart, I tell you.
I
It's a
can,
very costly, time-consuming process,
I,
but it's
I can,
exciting at the same time.
I can imagine, and I know it sounds a bit early for me, but actually I want to do the similar thing. Meet Kevin, who's a YouTuber. He actually has a publicly traded ETF, and I want to do that. And where I'm actually growing faster per month than he is. He's much bigger than me, but he's been going around for years. And I want to do the same thing because everybody says to me, I want to buy a share of your show. I love where you're going or what you're doing. So one day I may have to sit with you with a beer and have a chat and find out how you did all this. I can imagine it's an extremely complicated and expensive process. But
Yes.
you've now got you're now taking public Diversified Mineral Group, DMG. So what makes you think then that this business is going to be more successful than the previous business? How is it structured differently? And I believe that you have a very unique technology, which I know a lot of people
We
want to
do.
ask. Yes, want to ask you about. Someone said to me earlier, a lot of companies, mining companies, will have technology which locates where things are. How is what you have different? So I guess that's the main point, really, that you have this unique this unique technology. So tell me a bit about that and how it's different to what everybody else might have, for example.
Well, about 8 years ago, I got a call from an investment banker, a friend of mine, and said that he had some interesting technology had found and wanted me to take a look at it because it had mining applications. So after a little exploration and due diligence into it, we got to the point where we funded the development of this technology. And the underlying technology is going to be electromagnetic that sends a pulse down into the ground, whereby it reflects off of anything that's electromagnetic. Now, there's other technologies that do similar things, but what this technology did, and the scientists that developed it, is that it sent down three arrays that triangulates what's in the ground. Not only that, he developed an algorithm by which it can differentiate between different elements in the ground. So every element has a different signature, like your fingerprint, and it reads that fingerprint. Well, the algorithm and the computer doesn't know what those elements are immediately. So we send down a core drill hole into that element, and the geophysicist then adds the elements, what it is, to the algorithm. So algorithm learns what's in the ground. So we do that with all the different elements that we come across. Now, the algorithm, no matter where it goes in the world, if it goes across that element, it reads back what that is. So it's groundbreaking technology. It's literally a game changer. What it will allow us to do now is go over a properties, find the electronic signature, and will do a roadmap of what's in the ground below us. And it will save time and money on the development stage of mining.
Of course, because that's. I've done some research, preparing to talk to you today, and that's one of the things that can separate a successful mining company and a one that's not successful, with how much money it takes to discover the elements and get to it and all the rest of it.
Exactly true.
Yes. So you have a patented, I believe, I hope I pronounce that correctly. In England, we pronounce it slightly differently. Technology that you have exclusive access to, you use.
We have commercial rights to it.
Yes, exactly. Which gives you an edge to find the minerals, the metals, and so on and so forth in a much more efficient way, right?
Well, I'd like to think of it as working smarter, not harder.
Yeah. Yes,
So
exactly. And everyone today is talking about AI and technology. So you're bringing the technology of AI into your business, which I mean everybody's doing, making themselves more efficient and profitable and so on and so forth. One of our viewers, our members, one of our original founder members, I like the concept of the electromagnetic tool. Charles Irizarry, I don't know, he's one of your friends. He said, looking forward to Jefferson's interview. Longtime friend, 20 plus years. He's watching today. And
yes, he is.
He's a top-notch professional. We only have the best people on our show, Charles, of course. I love the channel. Cheers. Thank you very much indeed. Jonas said, scanning before digging is a technique every company does. Wonder where they think they've got the edge. Well, you've just heard Jeff explain the way the AI learns from that detection, what gives it that edge. So hopefully that answers your question. We've got somebody here who's been very much in this field himself, one of my partners in the show, Sensei Crypto, and he's asked the question, will you be employing solar and wind perhaps? I have heard they are a tax deduction for a good environmental practice. Is that something you're looking at, or does that not work with your business?
A lot of the equipment we use requires a very substantial electric charge that goes to it. But running the offices and the day-to-day stuff that around on there is something we've looked at it in doing solar on the project just to be as green as we possibly can. But as far as the big crushing plants, that requires thousands of units of electricity, and it has to be provided by the power grid.
Sure, and we've got plenty of power here in Texas. Now, tell me about your mines. Let me just share on the screen your locations, because it's all very well having the technology, but then you need somewhere to go and use it, right? So I've been looking on your website, and I've discovered here we have Van Diemen Mine, and we also have Frisco Gold Project. Perhaps you could tell me a bit more about your locations, where you'll be doing all of this work.
These two mines are located in northwest Arizona near Kingman. The projects came to me several years ago, and we had 4 gold mines in Northern California that we were going to restart, and they were big ticket items. And we originally were looking for something that was more ready to start in mining, and then that's what the Frisco offered, and jump-starting cash flow. It has turned out that it's become a bigger project than we had originally deemed. 1,200 acres, only 80 acres have been drilled so far, so less than 10% of the property has been drilled. Our idea is to start mining phase 1 within 6 months, and then drilling out the rest of the property within the next year, and developing that as well. The Van Diemen is nearby. It's within 50 miles, 900 acres, of which 90 acres have been drilled to date. That's probably a year away from permitting, maybe less, we don't know. So those 2 projects are going to be the first things that we develop, along with our Northern California projects, which will require probably 18 months to 2 years before they're ready for operations.
Okay, so it's a long-term investment. That's what we're talking about with this company, right? Essentially?
Yes.
Yeah, because I'm being asked some questions. Unfortunately, we have to be mindful about certain questions. We've got a lot of investors here. Now, my job is to, I am an investor. This is what we do on our show. However, Meet the CEO is about speaking to the CEO, having a conversation, learning about the business. we can't ask about prices and stuff like that. That's not what we do. That would be against all regulations. So some of you in the chat are asking me what's the price at where and all the rest of it. All we can do is I'm interviewing the CEO, and I can provide you with the information, and you can go and do your own research. And should you decide to invest in this company, you can. But we can't talk prices here on our show. That's not how this would work. Unfortunately, that's the way the world is. Jeff, Wayne Middleton has just asked me a question. He said, or made a comment. He just said, Jeff is a modern day Goldfinger and his technology is a game changer. And, but what happened to his Florida Gators when he was in Salt Lake City this fall?
Oh,
is that one of your friends, mate?
They just love ragging on my Florida Gators.
Yeah.
Yeah, I happened to be there at the game with them, and I was the lone blue shirt in the sea of red.
Is this one of your friends just phoning in? Is it? Just Wayne Middleton?
Yeah.
They're all right. Okay, so there we go. Now I know some people are very interested in this. The fact you've just walked the floor. You're at the New York Stock Exchange. And when I spoke to you a couple of nights ago, when I was doing the party for Doug, who's watching at the moment as well, and we've all seen the film The Wolf of Wall Street. We've all seen all the shouting and the screaming going on. And I was talking to you, and because I've never had the fortunate position where you are today to be, where you are and seeing what you're seeing, but just describe to us, because you told me about it when we was having a little chat, that it's not like in the movies. There's no screaming and shouting going on. It's a very modern, different environment these days. Would you just tell me what it feels like to be on the New York Stock Exchange floor today?
You walk on and you go, are they trading? It's all electronic. There's there's only probably 18, 20 people in the booths doing electronic trading. There's no yelling and screaming. It was kind of disappointing.
That's what I said to you. I thought it'd be all exciting. I thought everybody would be shouting and screaming. I thought, but really, it's not good for your health, is it? Really, it's not good for your health. Yeah. It's much more gentlemanly.
And everybody sees them ringing the bell, which is on the balcony, and you get up close to it, and it's small. Like, well, how do they get all those people on that balcony? But they do. But it's quite an honor to be here. I'm here. It's American Day at the New York Stock Exchange, and I was lucky enough to be one of 50 executives that were invited to this event. And and now I get to be on your show as well. So it's quite a day for me.
It's a great day for us. I mean, we rank number one on many search terms like Virgin Galactic, SPCE stock, and others. I have the Virgin Galactic song out and everything else. And I built this, Jeff, I wanted it to be very different than all the other channels. I wanted to be, first of all, I'm an entertainer, I'm an interviewer, I'm a personality. That's what I am. But I'm an investor myself now, and I've tried to bring the most honest, real YouTube TV experience to people, where I can meet great people, learn great things, share that information in an open, honest way. And why we have 98% of our live viewers members, more than any other channel on planet Earth, we have the highest engagement rate, is because people don't want what they hear at Bloomberg anymore. They don't want what they hear at CNN, where Mad Money and Jim Cramer, where everyone's influencing things and got their own agenda. I am just interviewing people, finding out information, sharing it, asking the difficult questions, giving the best answers, because I just want to go to bed at night when my wife tells me I've done a good job and I've helped people. And we raise money for charity on the show. We're here to help people and give everyone a voice, and that's what our channel is about. So it's a great honor to have you here. So here comes potentially one of those difficult questions. Sensei's asked me, because everyone talks about this, of course, in the mining industry, for toxic waste, will you be reprocessing with the new tailing technologies, which can increase yield rate of mineral? I don't understand the question, but he does. May I put that to you?
Yes. Well, first of all, we don't use toxic chemicals whatsoever in any of our processes. And yes, and there's two parts to this. With the tailings, there's a new industry in the mining that is reprocessing tailings that were mined back in the 30s and 40s when they didn't have the ability to get the fine gold. So that there is a lot of people that I know are doing that. We don't do it. We're looking at our own projects, and today, with the modern technology that we have in processing, we recover, almost all of the recoverable gold we get. So we're not really looking into any tailing processing ourselves. But yes,
Okay.
no harmful chemicals whatsoever we use.
What
We try to
wonderful.
be as green as possible.
Yeah, of course, it's it's a very difficult business to do. But Jonas has asked a question: if they scan the areas, which materials will they prioritize?
Well, we're looking for targets. We're looking when we go over an area. We're looking for magnetic targets that we would then go in and put core holes down into that target and measure if it's commercially mineable. So we know that there are other companies next to us that are mining a gold vein. That will probably be our first target we do next year. So, you find the anomalies, you target them, you find, you do exploration, and if that comes out positive, then you move to the second phase, which is more core drills, and gap accounting rules require us to have a certain amount of cores per acre of a property in order to prove it up so it's bankable. So there's a lot of work that has to get done, and it's a slow process. Obviously, our DTAC technology will speed up that process by locating these anomalies and giving us a roadmap.
Sure. Of course, over the last year, we've seen the price of gold go up. I use particularly SPDR Gold Trust at the moment. I don't own any physical gold. I just own a bit of this ETF, up 7%. One of the questions I think we can ask, and what your opinion is, it's only an opinion, folks. Where do you see the price of gold going? Because of course that will affect your business a lot. I mean, where do you see it going?
The price of gold sitting is very advantageous to us right now. We're very happy. So I've been on several calls. I've actually, I will tell you that I got a call from one of the head of Stiefel in New York, who has become a friend of mine. They believe through their gold analysts, and I believe this is true, that next year gold should go up to $2,700 an ounce, and that's the benchmark that everybody's looking at. So obviously, a $700 jump in gold prices, is very advantageous for us, especially going public and what our reserves value is going to be.
So it's often debated on our show. People talk about crypto now as the new digital gold. Warren Buffett doesn't agree. Charlie Munger, who just recently passed away, doesn't agree. They think it's a load of old rubbish. What's your view on digital gold as someone who actually mines real physical gold?
Well, the digital market to me is a very scary market. When you have these cryptocurrencies that have no backing behind them, what's you saw Bitcoin go up to 50 some thousand, 70,000, I forget what it went up to as high, and then creeps back down. It's it's a crapshoot. When you don't have anything backing it up, that's to me is a huge risk. I look at real commodities. We're sitting on real gold mines with real value, and that to me is a much better place to be, in my personal opinion. That's why we're doing it.
Sure. Do you own any crypto? Do you own any Bitcoin?
No,
No, you wouldn't bother. Prefer to own the
no.
real stuff in the ground.
I much better prefer to have the real stuff.
Yeah, I had a comment which I thought was good from your friend of mine, our host for the party the other evening, Doug, and he said, "Just remember," I thought this was quite good. "Just remember, if you can't grow it, you have to mine it." I thought that was a good.
That's right.
That's right. That's right. When do you? Sorry, you were going to say something.
Well, I mean, people, I get this all the time, and people, are negative on mining, but you just have to remember that everything that you wear is made by something that was mined out of the ground. Everything that you have material-wise was mined out of the ground. Without mining, we have nothing so
I know we have.
from.
Sorry, we have this dilemma all the time. I am very green. My home in the UK is completely off grid. It's all solar. I recycle everything. I'm always doing everything I can. My studio runs on a solar battery on one AC outlet. Very efficient. All of this is LED and digital equipment. But it's all very well for someone to say, I don't agree with mining, but yet they own an iPhone.
Yeah.
We all have the technology of the things that and they all come from mining, these resources. So unless you're going to live in
the batteries in your iPhone,
of course.
if it wasn't for rare earth elements, you wouldn't have the being able to miniaturize your cell phone to give it the power it has today without these rare earth batteries. Your TV screen, the red dyes come from rares. Everything that your car, people want to go electric, in these EV cars. Well, those batteries, it's 5 different elements that have to be mined around the world in order to produce the minerals, the materials for those electric vehicles.
Yeah. So if you are totally against mining, and that's okay, that's your opinion, and we have people on this show who don't like what you're doing and others think it's great. If you want that opinion, then put down your iPhone, turn the electricity off, live in a cave, and then you can say I don't agree with anything that comes out of the ground.
That's right.
Until then, you can't really say anything. But you're at the NYSE today. When do you plan your company to go IPO? I know that's probably early for you to say right now. You've got a lot of processes to complete. But when do you anticipate it being a publicly traded company?
Well, I mean, I don't have any say in that regard. I mean, we're going to do our filings with the regulatory agencies, and as soon as they give us their blessing, then we will be a publicly traded company. Whether that's in a month from now or 5 months, we don't know, because there's always comment periods that come by. But
Sure.
we're making sure that we have everything done correctly, that all our audits are in place, that all of our agreements and everything that around us is perfect, and that goes into the filings, and we're probably within a week to 10 days of having all that done.
Well, Jeffrey, we wish you the best with it. I would like to stay in touch with you. You're just down the road from me, and we'll be, keep up to speed what's going on. Love to talk to you again in the future and how it's progressed and where we're going. And
we'll keep in touch, and I'll let you know how our process is going, and you'll be one of the first people to know.
Great. And I will follow up. What I will do now is I will create a playlist for your company. And every time that we speak or I talk about it or find some information out, it'll go in that playlist. And it won't take me very long, particularly as your business is so new, no one else is covering it. We will rank number 1 for it right off the bat. So when you Google your business, I'll be right up there with these interviews and this information. And I want to see everyone who builds a business to be successful. You're employing people. How many people do you employ now, and how many do you anticipate going forward?
Well, that's a
difficult. I know.
Really good question. it's going to be a gradual process. Probably when we get into full production, it'll be 500 to 700 people we'll have
Yeah.
employed.
Yeah. So, you're
I mean, how
employing
many
people.
shifts we do.
You're employing people, you're providing jobs, you're paying taxes, you're providing the world with the goods that we need. I want to see everyone be successful. That's what this is about, helping everyone, bringing information out there. And I want to be with you every step of the way. So one thing I'd like to do.
Thank you, Martyn.
No, my pleasure. There's one more thing I want to ask you to do just before you go. Everyone's saying thank you. I've got Jonas saying thanks for the answer and the interview. Thanks for the interview, Jeff, says MSK. So we've got some very small and some very large investors here who are thanking you for your time today. I appreciate it. One thing that we like to do, as I've interviewed lots of people, but you're the first CEO, is I'd like to surprise you with this last question, and I use it on my show. And as we like to keep bringing up your company and mentioning you throughout the time that we're doing these shows, is I ask you for a 15-second soundbite why everybody should watch my show or become a member, and what's the best YouTube channel in the world. So give me a 15-second why everyone should watch and become a member.
You want an endorsement?
Yes, that's right. You got it.
Absolutely. Well, number one, it was just a pleasure to meet you the other night. And I have looked into your show. I've done a little research, and I just think that what you're doing is amazing. And, I will become a subscriber as well. And I'll be looking in on what you're doing and how you're doing it. But,
thank you, Jeff.
It's fantastic. And you're one hell of a singer, too. I just have to say that.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. Make sure, in case anybody wants to book me. In fact, I only do about 5 to 10 private functions a year. I did Jerry Jones's Halloween. I did Mark Cuban's house. I did Doug's the other night. I handpick, because I don't tour anymore. This is my full life in the studio, and I do lots of online events for people all over the world. I write songs and what have you. But I do a few private functions a year if it feels right and I fancy doing it. It's nice to do it and meet people because I live in the studio. But Jeff, we're going to wrap up the show. Everyone is thanking you in the chat. Thank you ever so much indeed. We'll talk off air, and I'll send you one of my Martyn Lucas mugs. So you got one of my coffee mugs.
Oh, well, thank you. I'll keep that in a special place.
You need You're definitely right. Jeff, thank you ever so much. I wish you the very, very best of luck with your business, and look forward to having you on the show again and seeing how you've got on. Thanks ever so much.
It'll be my pleasure.
Thank you. There's Jeff Boots, everybody. Wasn't that fun? That was great. Our first Meet the CEO. So if you are a CEO of a company and you're thinking, I like this channel, I like the way Martyn does this, then please do reach out to me. We rank number 1 for many of our companies that we talk about on Google. So we can certainly bring attention to you. That being said, then, there are many people that do contact me and ask me to be on the show that are from not particularly the sort of businesses that I want to promote. Certain crypto things aren't always good, or certain stocks aren't always good. I'm here to bring great companies, great people to you, and get to the story of the company. That's what it's about. So if you are one of those companies and you do something good for the world and you employ people and you've got something that the world should hear about, then reach out to me. Martyn Lucas Investor is the channel, or martynlucas.com is the website. Reach out to me. My personal details are there, and I would love to interview you, talk to you, and have you on the show as the next part of Meet the CEO. The links will be below, above. More information on Jeff's business if you want to go and check it out. Maybe you quite like the idea of this and you'd like to be in on the technology at the beginning. Please do go and check it out. All the links to my music channel if you want to hire me for a gig. Only $5 a year, so good luck with that. All right, links are below and above, and over here there'll be more in the series of our full reviews and, of course, Meet the CEO. As always, until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Good luck, Jeff.